The mind has 1,000 eyes and the heart but one. Yet the light of a whole life dies when love is done. So goes the poem. Yeah, right. Love always gets the good press and hate the bad. But in reality, especially for the poor and working class, hate is often a much more useful tool for survival in life than love. If the love of the powers that be had their way for me, I would still be in the Navy, spending at least half my life at sea, risking it for their safety, or worse, working as a janitor back in my hometown, or somewhere else as a poor, humble servant of God and society, while they run around gathering as much power as they can and still go to heaven. Anger, aggression, ambition usually do more in life for one to work out of the working class or out of poverty than love, unless you are some type of whore. I just saw a documentary about Bob Gibson, a great pitcher from the 1960s, who was known for pitching with anger and aggression, and thus for a high intimidation factor with batters. He blames his anger on racism. Yeah, whatever. Even if that is true, then racism is the best thing that ever happened to him. Otherwise, without the anger that racism gave him, unlike those who accepted it and tried to change it with love, he would have been just another wannabe fastball pitcher playing in sandlots somewhere with nowhere to go. Anger and aggressiveness and competitiveness is what gave him the ability to make it and survive in the major leagues. Anger, aggressiveness, and competitiveness are each accepted as a good for the powers that be, but somehow each are seen as an evil for the poor and the working class. So what is hate that it gets such a bad rep? Now that we know what love is, defining hate is easy. It is the opposite of love. Self-hate is wanting not to exist nor to continue existing and having no hope of meaning in that existence. Once all three of these elements come together, plus opportunity, putting a bullet in your head and in the head of others will shortly follow unless one of these elements changes. Hating others is wanting them not to exist, to stop existing, and that there be no meaning for their existence. No ambiguity here. Hate, unlike love, is not ambiguous, but is very clear and provides clarity for life. It is this clarity that makes hate such a useful tool in trying to survive and battle the powers that be, if one can control it. That is, avoiding having the three elements of self-hatred come together to the point of suicide. Unlike love, requiring that one love oneself before one can love others, hate allows for the option of loving yourself while hating others. It is a much more versatile tool than love. One can will to exist, will to continue existing, and hope and have meaning for one's life, and therefore self-love, while at the same time hating others, willing that they do not exist, do not continue existing, and that they have no meaning for their life. In fact, hate of others could be the meaning that provides the third element for our self-love. So for love, you must love yourself before you can love your neighbor. But for hate, there is no need to hate yourself before you can hate your neighbor. You can love yourself and yet hate others. Hate is the opposite in every way of love. So can God love? Or more importantly, given our topic, can he hate? Before we go on to those issues, I want to deal with some ambiguity in our discussions and discuss whether there is a third option between love and hate.